Hey, good morning and welcome to the fourth hour of the Greg Belfrage Show, which is actually the third hour of the Greg Belfrage Show today. It's when you have those days and you just start off wrong and things don't get any better. That's the kind of day I'm having today. Just everything went wrong from the get go and just keeps getting worse and worse. So it's great to be with all of you. Let's see what is new this morning. I've got some stories I want to share with you. The big news is the Ryan Routh apparently left a note. He wrote a note that he intended to kill Trump, and he did this 2 months before the assassination attempt on the golf course. So this is the letter, and he dropped the note addressed to the world off in a box at an unnamed person's home. And it makes you wonder, actually. So it's like, what? He's apologizing. He's saying this was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, but I failed you. I tried my best and I gave it all the gumption I could muster. It is up to you now to finish the job, and I will offer $150,000 to whomever can complete the job, he said. So this makes you wonder, was this another attempt? Had he been trying then to kill Trump previous to the most recent attempt and failed? And so then tried again. We don't know. We really don't know. That's kind of all we know. It was a handwritten note discovered when the person opened the box, alerted the authorities after his arrest. So this person apparently held on to it, had not opened the box. So the box also contained ammunition, a metal pipe, miscellaneous building materials, tools, 4 phones, and multiple other letters. We don't know what they may have said. So did he write the note on the premise that he would not be successful, or had he tried another attempt to try to kill Donald Trump and it didn't go well, something went wrong? We don't know. We just don't know. Given this guy is this guy is really disturbed. I mean, seriously, this guy is seriously disturbed. He went after Trump's handling of Iran, saying that Trump ended relations with Iran like a child, and now the Middle East has unraveled, he said. So that's among the things that he has written in this most, David's asking, or excuse me, I'm a little slow here. Here we go. David said, where did he think he could come up with $150,000? Great question, David. Because clearly, he's being represented by court-appointed attorneys. He didn't have the money. He doesn't have money. So where would he have gotten $150,000? Woo! Anybody knows. This guy is just really disturbed. And then Steve said, yeah, if successful, there would have been multiple people willing to pay. No question about that, I think. Steve also made a comment. Was the guy working with somebody else? Not convinced. Are you convinced that he was working alone? It's a great point, Steve. I appreciate it. All right, let's see what else is going on this morning. A few other stories that I wanted to share with you. Let's see. You've got to hear this. This is Kamala Harris. She's out on the campaign trail. And I'm going to play this. I want to play this video. This is from townhall.com. And so she clarified that her comment in an interview with Oprah Winfrey, stating that she'd shoot an intruder in her home, it was just a joke. And she said she's a gun owner. Remember, she told Oprah Winfrey last week she's a gun owner. And she said, if someone breaks into my house, they're getting shot. Probably should not have said that, but my staff will deal with that later, she said. That was the comment. And so her campaign advisor apparently over the weekend said this was meant to be a joke. It was a joke, and she knew that we would still be talking about it today. But I think it's important that people know that the vice president respects the right to bear arms. More on that in a moment. We're going to shred that for you. And she supports the Second Amendment, but she wants responsible gun ownership, and she wants our communities to be safe. Now, there was an interview last week, and here's the video. And what she said, and it's seriously, it's absolutely chilling. Take a listen to this.
Responsible behaviors among everybody in the community, and just because you legally possess a gun in the sanctity of your locked home doesn't mean that we're not going to walk into that home and check to see if you're being responsible and safe in the way you conduct your affairs. Have you heard from
I mean, did you hear this? Just because you legally possess a gun in the sanctity of your locked home doesn't mean that we're not going to walk into that home and check to see if you're being responsible in your affairs, she said. Wow. That, my friend, is absolutely extreme. And that I'm amazed that she is being forthright about that, because I have no trouble believing that that's where she's at and that's what she's thinking. But the fact that she actually said that while she was out on the campaign trail, and the Trump war room responded by saying she's an anti-gun radical. Yeah, no question about that. It's just absolutely incredible. That comment, that should come back to dog hurt. Excuse me. She should be held accountable for that comment. I mean, seriously, that's got to be the subject of ads by the Trump team, getting that kind of stuff out there, because that is just incredible. So, oh yeah, well, I support gun ownership, and I'm a gun owner, and I support gun ownership. But just because you got a gun doesn't mean we can't walk into your home and take a look at that gun. Wow. You don't understand how extreme that is? That is just like bat crap crazy, folks. Really incredible. Also Kamala Harris. This is a piece I saw earlier this morning about Kamala Harris being hit for being vague, dodging questions in her recent interviews. I thought, well, this is interesting. This is a piece from Wall Street Journal, Peggy Noonan, saying this week she couldn't or wouldn't. Which do you think that is? That Kamala Harris can't or won't answer a question? I think it's won't. She's perfectly capable of answering them. You might not believe that if you hear some of these word salads. Here's the problem. She doesn't want to tell you what she actually believes. That's when she gets into trouble. I mean, if you're being really candid, you're being very forthright about what you actually believe, generally you don't have any trouble articulating that. Know what I mean? Excuse me, my nose is. You don't have any trouble articulating that. She just doesn't want to tell Americans what her real plan is, despite her being out there saying she wants another debate. Are you any closer to knowing what she actually stands for after that debate? I don't think so. I don't think we've gotten one step closer. So Peggy Noonan says she owes us these answers. It is wrong that she can't or won't address them. It is disrespectful to the electorate. Peggy Noonan, of course, is spot on. She's right on. Of course, it's disrespectful, as if she cares. Kamala Harris, she didn't care. You think she's being disrespectful now? Just wait until you elect her president, and then wait and see how disrespectful she is of your rights and everything else. I just do not believe for a moment she is anything that she purports to be. Pretty incredible. This is Todd Purdom of the New York Times. He's a White House correspondent for the Times. Said Harris cannot afford to be vague, he said. In a campaign in which Donald Trump fills our days with errant nonsense and dominates the national discussion, the vice president cannot afford to stick only to rehearsed answers and stump speeches that might not persuade voters or shape what America is talking about. So even the left-wing New York Times is saying that Kamala Harris we've got to see some substance. Pretty incredible. And this goes on. So Fox News is where you can find that piece. If you want more details, just go to foxnews.com. That's where I found it. Trying to, I got several open windows here. Wanted to see if there was anything else. David says of Kamala, I don't think she's capable of giving a straight answer. I think she is. She won't. Do not confuse her refusal to speak plainly with her. I also think a lot of what comes out of her mouth is just nonsense or is word salad. But I think you will see very specific policies from her, and none of them will be good for you. I just don't believe so. Steve. To paraphrase Nancy Pelosi, you have to vote for Kamala Harris to find out what she stands for. Yeah, that's absolutely right. All right, there was one other story that I wanted to share with you this morning, and then we'll wrap it up this morning because this day has just been hellish for me. I'm going to close that. I'm going to try re-sharing that again without any no audio this time. Here we go. Boom. Oh, I lost it now. I'm sorry. There we go. Now I will try again. Cancel. Seriously. I will be so glad to get home today. I will just be like, oh. There we go. No audio this time. The last full-size Kmart in the United States is going to close. This is hardly a surprise. We've been watching the demise of Kmart for quite some period of time. They were closing stores, and you just knew this was not on a path to being able to rebuild. The last full-size Kmart in the United States will close. That will leave just one location in Florida. So it's crazy. October. And it's the one remaining location then is downsized. So the store that'll be closing in October is the last full-size Kmart store. They once operated around 2,300 locations, and they are going to shutter the full-size store. So that means the smaller Kmart store in Miami will become the last one remaining in the U.S. And again, they have been on that path. You knew that was coming. I don't think that's any kind of surprise that the you know what the surprise is to me? That they allow it to go on for so long. I mean, I understand they want to try to turn things around, and you see stores do that. They hold on for way longer than they should, and they don't make the changes that they need to. They don't adapt to a changing market, and they just don't do it until it's far too late, and then it's too little too late by the time they get around to doing it. Kmart was one of those, which is unfortunate. The Denise said, I miss Kmart and Shopko. Yeah, I feel the same way. Um, Steve says, I watched a documentary. Where'd you find that, Steve? I'm curious in that. I watched a documentary on the rise and fall of Kmart. It was quite interesting. They killed themselves. I think that's probably true for a lot of companies, don't you think? That they just make decisions that are bad. They are either not reading the market, don't know what consumers want. They just know what they want. And that's never good. I mean, seriously, you're trying to appeal to as many people as possible, right? I mean, you start getting away from that. And we have seen that with a number, I think, of these. Take a look at Target and who they're trying to appeal to. And then they wind up, right? I mean, with up at the front of the store, the material they're putting up at the front of the store that is enraging their everyday customers to the point, and they're surprised by it. I mean, again, it's just absolutely amazing that these companies don't realize that they are digging their own graves, and then they're lying in them and just covering themselves up with dirt. Just absolutely incredible. And I've got to say, I miss Kmart too. Um, I was a Kmart shopper. Same thing with Shopko. Shop both of those stores pretty regularly, routinely. Um, I've been saddened to see what happened at Kmart. And part of that is that's a store that I grew up with. Many of us did. And Sioux Falls, how many Kmart stores did we have in Sioux Falls at one time? At least 3, maybe even more than 3. Um, um, really enjoyed going there with my parents when I was a kid. It's stupid. I mean, fond memories of going shopping with mom and dad, that kind of stuff. Um, and Kmart just even once I got married, Kmart was in the 1990s. We did a lot of shopping at Kmart. A lot of stuff that we got for our family at Kmart, and just done a ton of shopping there. And so you watch these stores, and again, they knew things were going badly and they let it linger. And I mean, I just don't want to die that kind of lingering death. And on days like today, it kind of feels like that's what I'm doing. This has just been day from hell for me, and I feel like, man, maybe it's time, but it's pretty crazy. Yeah, David's right. People with MBAs telling customers what they should want. They really don't listen to their customer. I think that's true. I think that's absolutely true. Yeah, and Denise says Sioux Falls had 3 Kmarts. That's what I thought. The Steve says to me, if my ship is sinking, I'm going down with it. Steve, God bless you. I'm trying to stay afloat. I'm trying to keep my head above water. But some days, let me tell you, it can be difficult. Today was one of those. So after this, it all gets better from here on out. So as I love the interaction with all of you. I just really appreciate your comments. Denise is hungry for a Kmart sub sandwich. I haven't had one of those in years, Denise, since I've had one of those. Yeah, John said the same thing. Bring back the Kmart sub sandwiches. Nothing, nothing has been better. Yeah, it's sad to see the demise of Kmart. And there's a restaurant that I like that's kind of on that path right now. It's Red Lobster. Have you been watching what's going on with Red Lobster? They're filing bankruptcy and then you're trying to reorganize. And some of the locations are closing, and I'm like, I really like Red Lobster. I've been a Red Lobster fan for a long time. It's not everybody's saying I totally understand that, but the a number of these chains, they just you know and I don't know what it is that would put them on the right path, or what got them into hot water, but um, that's just you know I part of it is I've gotten used to just understanding it's just the way things go. Businesses are going to come and go, and they're not always going to be around. Um, so get out and spend as much money as you can at the places you love right now. No, no, not advising that. But I guess it's just the way that things go. The that we see the decline of these businesses that were once successful. And again, I don't know what happened, especially as we're talking about Kmart, what happened with Kmart that they just didn't really understand who their customers were or what they wanted, or in order to be able to get market share. Um, you had there's a lot of competition. That's true for everyone, regardless of what business you're in. There's just a lot of competition, and you've got to be looking at what your competition is doing, and um, you've got to be in touch with your customers and what they want and what they're looking for. And that's why I hit my email so hard, is because I really do love hearing from you. Things that you want to, your thoughts, your ideas, things that you would like to see. I'm really grateful for those. Appreciate knowing when we're on the right direction, or we're on the right path, and when we're not. You love hearing from people and saying this was a misstep. And certainly it happens. Yeah. Happens with, I think, a lot of, you're going to make mistakes. We're all human. You can't avoid it, but no question about it. Denise is a Red Lobster fan too. I only go maybe once a year. Denise, I get you. I would go at least, I would say, see, Katie doesn't like seafood. So I'm like, you know, I got nobody to go with. So my youngest daughter, Meredith, loves Red Lobster. So I would just take her. It's like, hey, lunch is on me. Let's go to Red Lobster. Because she loved it. But Katie won't touch seafood. I made in fact, I made some catfish over the weekend, and she's like, just a scowl on her face the entire time. But Denise, I think you're right. It was Walmart. Walmart that really, you know, um, and Walmart, I think, is more in step with, certainly, they're just had been a monster, huge. And they're still opening stores as others are closing theirs. And I know that's been frustrating to some, but again, I always thought I understand they're big chains and a lot of, the folks who are working for Walmart at the corporate level, maybe they're not in your community, but you got a lot of people employed who are in your community. They are in your community. And the managers, the rank and file employees, all of those that, you know, um, they do benefit your community. The not as much probably as buying. When it comes to some things, I will buy mom and pop when I can. In other words, I will go into a store that I know is a local store. One of the stores that I promote all the time is Lewis. I love Lewis. I've been shopping at Lewis all of my life. My mom would go to Lewis and would take me along. And I took my kids to Lewis, and I still go to Lewis, and I get my prescriptions, and I get a lot more than that just at Lewis. Because I like supporting those local stores. Thing about Lewis is they don't have everything that I want. They don't have everything that I need. And there may be other local stores that have some of that, but when it comes to some things, they're more difficult to find. And I will say very honestly that when I go to Lewis store, I will buy as much as I can at Lewis. Even if I know, okay, this is more expensive at Lewis than it is. And this is one of the reasons why I think it's so frustrating. We're talking about inflation and what inflation is doing to our ability to be able to, our spending power, right? The effects of inflation. When it comes to that, don't care. I will buy everything I can at Lewis, even knowing that some things I'm paying more for, but knowing, I love the folks at Lewis. They're very kind to me when I come in. You wind up knowing some of the cashiers. The manager knows me by name when I go into my local Lewis store. And I love that. I just absolutely love that. She's always, this is over at the Southeast location. She's a fan of the shows. So shout out to her. Thank you for listening. Thank you for listening. But again, I know Lewis is not going to have the lowest prices on everything, but lowest price is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking to support local companies as much as I can. And there are others as well, but sometimes, unfortunately, when it comes to some things, I've got to go get them at Walmart. And I know that's, like poison. As some people hate Walmart. I think there are reasons to hate some of these big chains. Walmart necessarily is not the one where that makes me angry. I've got some anger for some of the other chains, Target in particular. I told my daughter when she recently moved, she's not in Sioux Falls anymore, but she would want to go to Walmart. And I'm like, yeah, I'd rather not. Is there somewhere else we can go rather than somewhere, that's got what you need, but, or Target rather. I would say, can we go somewhere other than Target? Would you mind? And she always played along with me. So I'm going to leave it there for today. I want to thank you so much for being with me and bearing with me today because it's been a rugged day, kind of finding my step a little bit now, of course, because I'm done. That's the way it goes. But I want to thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it. Please hit the like button. Let your like-minded friends know about what we're doing each day, and we'll leave it there for now. You have a great Monday. I hope your week's off to a better start than mine. So long until tomorrow, my friend, and may God bless.